taken for an outing. And an outing to which place? Outing to Gundicha temple or the garden house of the lords. Now why there? Because it is believed, as per the mythology, that Queen Gundicha, when the images or the idols were carved out of the woods by the divine carpenter Lord Vishwakarma, goddess Queen Gundicha, the queen consort of King Indradhyumna. Indradhyumna is the person or is one who had brought the holy carpenter to carve out the body of the idol. People say that, or many people believe that it is half complete idol. Now still then, in that half completion lies the completion of devotion. So that is a time when Gundicha offered prayers to the gods, to the lords, and she was asked, what do you want? She said, at least once in a year you must return to the place where you are now starting for the journey of duty to Sri Mandir or to the main temple. And this is how the gong beaters are there. They have taken their gongs above their head and beating. They beat the gongs in a unison that it produces a mystical sound, mesmerizing sound is there, and that only the servitors, they get energized, and also the people those who are present, the devotees those who are present, they also feel enthralled to the music. So that is the way it is being done. There are 32 gong beaters that they are present, and the same gong beaters. Now those who are leading the procession of Lord Jagannath, they would be perching on the chariot. Not a person less or not a person more. 32 gong beaters they would be there. And let us now talk about the gong beating. Now how do they beat the gongs in such a way that it becomes one unison? Because they get trained. And all through the year, the younger people of their sect, those who want to be the gong beater, they practice. And after the practice, they are put into the initiation ceremony during the time of Rath Yatra. And there the same gong beaters, the Hanumani is there, also carrying the message of Lord. And there is a person who is holding the banati, that is called the Chakra banati. And some time back I had seen one of the banati players was moving the banati with two triangular shaped red flags. That is called Bana banati. And sometimes what happens, particularly that type of banati, we will be able to have a look at during the time of Niladri Vijay, when the lords are taken back to the temple, to the main temple at the middle of the night. That's the time we see the Agni banati, two balls of fire tethered to the thread. It is manipulated by that banati player. That is called Agni banati. And why these banati players, they move their banati skills or their acrobatic skills, is that the eager people, they're thrown in such a way that it becomes difficult for the servitors or for the functionaries, those who come from different monasteries, to perform their duties. Just to ward off people, just to bring certain amount of discipline, just to bring certain amount of clarity and the cleanliness, because the path is cleared for the movement of the Lord, and the Lord would be coming to the Grand Road, just out of the canopy of the main entrance, that is called the Singodwara, because it is it is found that two huge stone lions, they are on the both sides of the pathway. So this is how it is there, and heavy rains is there over Puri, particularly at this part of the Grand Road. It has taken little break. The winds have little become thinner, but still then it is there, and it is a rarity to find the lords being taken in the processions to their different chariots to be pulled by the devotees to the ultimate destination, that is the Gundicha Badi or the Gundicha Mandir. It is called the Gundicha Badi, means the house, Gundicha house. And Only after the lords they get into the temple and the flags on the top of the temple that is flown, that is a time the house becomes the temple. Otherwise it is called the Gundicha body, and once the lords are seated there on the throne that is specially made, then it will be called as Gundicha Mandir. And the entire temple complex stands on an area of 5 acres. And it is called the garden house of the lords because there are trees, 100 and odd trees of coconut are there, and also the areca trees are there, and also jackfruit trees are there. So it gives a look of a garden. So that is the garden, the divine garden to which the lords are taken. And on the left we can see the Aruna Stambha or the Aruna pillar. It was not there earlier in this temple complex. It was there in the Sun temple at Konark. And as we know that 13th century Konark temple caved in, while 12th century edifice, main Jagannath temple, was standing intact. There is a belief that behind the construction of 13th century temple dedicated to sun god, it was the pride, it was the power, it was the pulp which were working behind that. And all these things are temporary, and there became a difficult fault there, and because of that fault the temple at Konark had caved in. And that was a time this was lying, the Aruna pillar that was lying there. And when Marathas were the rulers, before the coming of the British came in the year 1803, and prior to that the Marathas were the rulers of Odisha, and the Maratha rulers, they had a long stretch of kingdom that they saw that some of the officers of Maratha, they saw that it was lying uselessly there. So they brought down the entire Aruna pillar, and that was kept there just in front of the Lion's Gate or the eastern gate or the main gate to the temple, where the passage is very clear. The wide steps are there, 22 steps are there. Actually 22 steps are not there right from the point of the canopy to the upper part. No, there are less than seven steps are there, and all these 22 steps, they have a symbol also, because everything is symbolic. As we can find the symbol of Vishnu or Lord Jagannatha, it is there stitched on the fans. They are there. 5 fans are being moved, and we can see the sun and moon, and also we can see the mark of Vishnu. That is the cheetah. That is also seen on the top of the pinnacle of the temple, 12th century edifice. So everywhere it is all symbols. And for the symbol, the Aruna pillar was brought down. It stands in one monolithic black granite, and there are 16 angles to that. 16 angles to that. On the top of that, there is a carved out lotus there, and on the top of the lotus there is seated Aruna paying the obeisance to Lord Jagannatha. So this is how it is there. And the 22 steps, it has a different meaning. Sri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Natha Narayana Vasudeva. 22 letters are there, and they symbolize the 22 steps. And otherwise it is also understood there are 22 types of mind, thoughts. They are there, and they are to be crossed, and they are to be overcome. Overcome like different qualities, which are all the negative qualities, not necessary for a clean and clear devotion. On the left we find that is the view of the inner canopy of Goddess Subhadra, and on the right we find that is how Lord Balabhadra is perched there and tied there on the cushion or on the chaka there. It is called chaka because the wooden circle is there. So this is how it is there, and everybody is waiting for Lord Jagannatha to come out of the eastern gate, and once he comes out of the eastern gate, they will be taken to the chariot, and this is how it happens. And I was talking about this summer rituals. Now lords, they are taken for cruise in the Narendra Puskarani or the Narendra Pond, and there for 21 days the representative idols
পোস্টার খণ্ডের উপর যখন পড়ে সেই পোস্টার গলিত হয়ে যায়। এখনো যদি কেউ ব্রহ্মগিরির শ্রী অলারনাথ মন্দিরে যান তো দেখতে পাবেন শ্রী ব্রহ্মগিরি অলারনাথ মন্দিরে রয়েছে শ্রী চৈতন্য চক্রা, সেই চৈতন্য চক্রার ভিতরে রয়েছে একটি
Another 21 days, they have the inner cruise inside the temple complex. So this is how the 42 days of cruise are completed, and after that, the lords are ready for the sojourn, annual sojourn to Gundicha Ghar. And there is a system. The system is quite disciplined, which is followed in the temple for centuries and centuries. And the distribution of the labor and the duty is done in such a way. It is not of recent origin. It is as old as the temple. From a day before the Snana Yatra or Snana Purnima to the Snana Purnima to the return of the lords to the main temple. So one whole month is there, and this is how the volunteers of Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, they have volunteered their services. They have nothing to do with the temple. They have volunteered themselves to see that discipline is maintained there, and there is cleanliness and clarity to the movement of the chariots. And Lord Balabhadra is there, and the trademark color of his chariot is emerald green. Emerald green looks beautiful as the draping of the chariot. Why emerald green? Because it represents the foliage and the greenery of the land, and Odisha being an agrarian state, that is also reflected in the worship of the ritual and also the rituals connected to the Lord. And this is how the sea of devotion is getting thicker and thicker, and this is a view from the camera that is moving at the top. Doordarshan has managed to bring you this live and exclusive with the help of many cameras. And we can see the ambulance is also kept ready, and also the fire brigade vehicle is also kept ready, because everybody wants to make sure that nothing untoward happens. And this is how the front view of the chariots where they are parked. It's beautiful to look at. Anybody who is lucky enough and devout enough can view all these things, and those who are not possible, those who some of the people, those who could not come here, they can view everything, because Doordarshan provides everything bit by bit, how the rituals are done and how the situation is there and how the view is there. And on the backside it is the foliage of Puri, full of coconut trees, because as it is located close to the seashore. This is the tree. Coconut trees are found in large numbers, and this is the top pinnacle of the chariot. It is flowing with 5 color strips, and they are called the banas also. And this is how the temple top, chariot top is standing on the ground.